Welcome back to Mary's Cooking. Today we have a humongous show for you. I am cooking slow cooked barbecue brisket and my famous favorite potato salad. You are not going to want to miss this one. Now listen, you're going to need quite a few little bits and pieces, so stay with me. This is actually super simple. It just looks like it takes a bit, but it really doesn't. You've got the time. Let's not kid about. Let's get started. You are going to need 2 tablespoons of mustard powder, 1 tablespoon of cayenne pepper, or as my old housemate Leah used to call it, Kanye pepper, 1 heaped tablespoon of smoked paprika. You can use normal paprika. This is my take on it though, and I thought I'd try out the smoked paprika this time. 1 tablespoon of cumin, get it. 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. 1 tablespoon of caster sugar. Our old mates Sandra and Peter, that's cracked black pepper and Himalayan pink salt. I've only got about 2 heaped teaspoons of each of those. You don't want to overpower all the other delicious spices, but you definitely want them in there. And last but not least, I should say, a bay leaf. And you just want one, and you want to crush him right up because he is going to go into your rub. What am I going to put all these things on, you ask? A brisket. That's right. You are going to need a big chunk of cow, my friends. Brisket is a bit of a weird cut. Well, it isn't really. I feel like it's more of an American thing, and us Australians have only just gotten onto it recently. It's a slow cook kind of deal, and it's so yummy. You can pull it all apart and serve it up kind of like a pulled pork type thing, but with beef, or you can slice it. Today, I'm just gonna slice it up when we eat it, and we're gonna put some potato salad on the side, and it's gonna be a delicious dream, a meat lover's dream. Look, this is a very huge piece. It's a bit of a weird shape. I don't know what this bit is, but anyway, it's all part of it. We'll just tuck him under, it looks a bit nicer. When you go to the supermarket, you're probably likely to get a piece about this big. And that's what I used last time I made this recipe. And so I halved all the ingredients. But today, as you can see, I have a monster. The ingredients that I am using today is supposed to actually work for a 5 kilo one. This guy's only 2.5 kilos. I can't imagine anyone ever making a 5 kilo brisket. I mean, are there even cows that big? I don't know. Anyway, 2.5 kilos this guy is. If you're making a smaller one, just halve all the recipe. You'll be fine. All right, shall we begin the enrubment? So I've got all my spices here ready to go. I'm going to start by crushing up my bay leaf. So as you know, we have been in the middle of a weird little pandemic. And by little, I mean it's affected the entire world. And a few weeks ago was when it all started and people were panic buying and going a little bit crazy. Luckily, it sort of stopped. Most of that has kind of stopped now. But anyway, everyone was getting a little bit mad. And I went to the supermarket and there was like no meat there. And the things that I would normally buy, like a lamb shoulder or, you know, steak or whatever, it was all gone. And I saw this lonely little brisket just sitting there, just begging me to take it home. And I thought, what could go wrong? I've wanted to try brisket for a while. It sounds delicious. It's in a lot of American shows. And so I was like, let's do it. Let's take this guy home and make him our own. And let me tell you, he was delicious. So I found a little recipe. I, of course, married it up a little bit. And so that's what I'm sharing with you today. Now, I have just crushed up this bay leaf with my fingers. I have several of them. But you can, if you want, if you've got a little, you know, spice grinder or whatever, use that. But gosh, this is going to get all mixed in with everything, so it won't matter. All right, in goes mustard, the great all-rounder, a little bit of garlic pea, that is garlic powder, a little bit of cayenne pepper, smoked paprika, cumin, caster sugar, and Sandra and Peter, salt and pepper. And We are going to mix those all together evenly in this bowl. I'm going to have a little sniff. Yummy. You can actually smell the smokiness of that paprika. Like I was saying before, you don't have to use smoked paprika. Don't bother going out to buy it if you've only got normal paprika. Just go with that. By now you should know that nothing is exact. We just playing. All right. Also, I did actually put a little bit less cayenne, I nearly said Kanye, pepper. I did put a little bit less cayenne pepper in there because we don't really love the spice. Now we're gonna give this guy a good little rub. Alrighty, just get him on there. Yes. Make sure you save enough for both sides. And you're not gonna believe this, but when you make a rub, you need to rub it in. Oh yeah. Give it a smack. Give it a slap. Oh my goodness, I feel like we've been here before. All right, and I'm gonna turn him over as well. Make sure you get every surface with this delicious stuff. It is spraying back up at me and it smells so good. I won't even lie, I can't, as you well know. And we are just gonna get that all on. And then we're gonna leave this to sit for a while we make an amazingly delicious barbecue sauce. Yes, you heard it here first. You are gonna make your own barbecue sauce today, people. Okay, it is time to make your very own barbecue sauce. Don't be intimidated, it's way easier than it looks, especially because we're gonna start off with 2 cups of normal old tomato sauce. So don't even worry, you have got this. All right, let me tell you about the ingredients, shall I? I have 2 cups of beef stock, beefy. Some beautiful apple cider vinegar. She's a treat, the old mother. 2 cups of normal old tomato sauce. Some chili pepper flakes and also some dried thyme leaves. Good old salt. I have half a cup of Worcestershire sauce. I have 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard, which I love. Does anyone else lick the spoon? I do. The juice of a small lemon, about a lemon this size. It's about 1/3 cup. I've got some olive oil here, any kind of oil, a little bit of Tabasco, and then a small onion and 3 cloves of garlic, ready to be chopped up. I'm gonna start with good old onion and garlic. You guys who have watched any other episodes have seen me do this a million times, so I'm not even going to tell you what I'm doing. You can just watch, and it doesn't even matter how small you get it, because all of this is going to be blended up with a stick blender. So you just chop it as you like, not too big obviously. All right, earlier I was pouring myself a cheeky little drink. Look, I'm not a huge drinker, but sometimes it's nice to have something to drink while you're cooking. And what I was pouring before was a beautiful birthday present from my delicious husband. It's a Tasmanian gin called Butterfly Gin, and it changes colour as you pour it in, and I just think it's the most beautiful thing ever. And I was put onto it by my stepdaughter. Speaking of beautiful things, there we go. Chop this guy. So the other day I had a knock on my door and I found on my doorstep a few little gifts, which was, whoopsie, so lovely. And amongst those gifts was the blackboard that you can see behind me. So I decided I'm going to use that blackboard to give shout outs to people who have been watching the show. Because I'm telling you now, people, it has blown my mind how many people contact me every day to say they've been making the recipes. So nice. Started out doing this just to share some of my recipes with friends that have been asking for them for a while. And because we had time on our hands, and because I live with a TV show maker, well, here I am. And it turns out many of you have made the pork belly, and a few have made the cauliflower soup, and lots of you have made the apple crumbles, so yay!
I have made up the crumble, Mary, and I'm going to put it in the microwave to cook. So let's see what it turns out like. Now you can turn it off.
Whoopsies, splattering garlic all over myself. This garlic is from my dad's garden. It's so nice having fresh produce just down the road. When you have got your little stinky bits all chopped up, it's time to pop a little bit of oil, probably about a tablespoon of oil, into a non-stick pan. I've got a really huge one over here. You don't need one this big, but this one is my best non-stick one. So come on over, let's get this started. I'm putting it on a high heat to begin with just to get the oil heated up. And then I'm going to turn it back down again because I don't want those onions to brown. I just want them to soften. So you'll see my little shout out on the board today is to Harry, Alicia and Esther, who were the beautiful people who bought me that board. Shout out to you guys. All right, here we go. I'm going to take over the onion and the garlic and pop it in. Just going to spread it out across the bottom of the pan. Oil probably could have been a little bit hotter, but it won't take long and it'll start sizzling away. So once your onions and garlic are cooked down a little bit, we're going to start adding things in. We're going to start with the tomato sauce, then we're going to add in just a teaspoon of the vinegar. We're going to put all that stock in, all of that, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, the Worcestershire sauce, the lemon juice and the Dijon mustard, and we're just going to plop that all in, give it a good stir around. Now, like with everything else, I like to taste as I go. You don't want to taste it straight away because the process of cooking will actually change some of those flavors. So as the sugar cooks through, it's going to taste a little bit different than if you dumped it all in and then had a little taste. So let it cook through a little bit and then add a couple of drops of your Tabasco, maybe 1 to start with, and see if you need it a little bit spicier. I know some of you out there are a little bit spicy. Okay, in goes the tomato sauce. Last time I made this, I had heaps of the barbecue sauce left, and my gorgeous Richard ate it on everything for weeks afterwards because he loved it so much. So don't worry. It does seem excessive for one recipe, but it's not too bad. All right. Now I had turned the heat right down because I didn't want the garlic to brown too much, but I'm just turning it up now. Next up, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. In it goes. Yummy. 1/2 cup of Worcestershire sauce. Almost 1/3 cup of lemon juice. 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard. A teaspoon of thyme. And I'm going to put in a pinch of chili flakes. I'm going to leave the rest. And 1 tablespoon of vinegar. I've chosen apple cider vinegar. You can put malt vinegar. You can put any vinegar you like. We're going to let it come up to the boil. We're going to stir everything in, and then we're going to turn it down a little bit. Okay, you have 2 cups of stock here. That doesn't go into the barbecue sauce. I'm sorry if I led you astray thinking it did. This is part of the cooking process, but it doesn't go in just yet. So we're going to pop him over to the side and take a minute. I can hear the barbecue sauce is bubbling away. I'm going to give it a quick taste and then just determine how much Tabasco I'm going to put in there. It's quite yum. Keeping in mind that when it's all blended up, you'll get more flavours in there with the onion and the garlic because they're whole in there at the moment, like whole big chunks. It is pretty, what's the word? Tangy at the moment. It probably could use a tiny bit more sugar, but I'm going to let it cook through a bit longer. Like I said, the flavours change the longer it cooks, and I don't want to add more sugar in there because, look, it's already got 2 tablespoons of sugar, and then you've got all the sugar that's in a bottle of tomato sauce. And real talk here, that's a crap ton of sugar. This spicy little guy packs a punch. I'm going to add 1, 2. If you want it to be slightly less tangy, just add your vinegar and your lemon juice gradually and taste as you go. I'm a bit of a fan of the tang. I think it's tang-tastic. That's quite hard to say. Time for ye old taste test. Oh yeah. Get in my belly. It's definitely tangy. Look, I'm going to be a wild, wild rebel. I'm going to be old Candyman himself. I'm going to add another heaped teaspoon of brown sugar. Don't tell anyone. You know what else I'm going to add? A few more chili flakes. That's right. I'm going to live dangerously. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I do have some healthy recipes coming up in the coming days, in the coming weeks even. I've got some beautiful healthy recipes. This is not one of them. This is let's get indulgent and just eat lots of meat coated in lots of sugar kind of day and put on a side of carbohydrates coated in fat. All right. Now, this tastes way better. Oh, it's got some punch in it now, which is good. You need a trusty old stick blender. My old friend Ange used to call this a whiz bang on a stick. Get your old whiz bang on a stick, pop it in the sauce. Look, everyone, you are going to cringe a little bit because this is metal and I'm putting it into my non-stick pan. Oh well. I'll try not to scrape the bottom. This little devil is still pretty lumpy. If you've got a normal blender, chuck it in that. But I'm going to persevere a little while longer. But I'm also going to say, let's call it rustic if we don't get all those lumps out. I mean, who really cares? Not I. All right, we haven't got all day. We need to turn on our oven. 130 degrees if you have a fan-forced oven, 150 if you don't have a fan-forced oven. If you have a gas oven, that's about the same as a fan-forced, so we'll go 130. I'm gonna put mine on 140 just so I can meet you all in the middle. All right, let's give that a taste. Oh, the sugar hits you first. And then the spice comes rushing in and he's like, don't forget about me. I'm here too. Yum. Woo! Fan forced and around to 140. There we go. Okay, we're going to take half of our barbecue sauce and we're going to mix it together with our stock. And the easiest way to do that is to get your pan, add your 2 cups of stock. That's beef stock, and about half of your sauce. And we're going to stir that all together, combine it. If you want to use a whisk, you can, but you know me, I don't like to have too much washing up for Richard to do. Jokes. I'm actually not joking. He does a lot of washing up around here. I don't know where I found him. Goodness. He's so good. All right. Actually, Richard bought that gin for me for my birthday, and he hid it in the house and did a little treasure hunt along with a few other presents and some funny little vouchers. I won't tell you about the vouchers though. Okay guys, your brisket has been sitting here getting all those flavours on it for a while, and now I'm going to put him with the side that's got the most fat up and into the liquid. I'm getting so excited. Yum, that smells amazing. All right, wash my hands because I'm not a complete grub. And now this bit's really important. We are going to seal the deal with some aluminium foil, and it's really important that you do it tightly, and that's why I've gotten so much in that first little one, because you don't want any air to escape. No escapees at all. All right, that is sealed. I'm almost tempted to put another one over it. I probably don't need to, and it's very wasteful. Okay. Foil is on. Now this guy is going into the oven for at least 4 hours. 4 hours, you say? Yes, it gives you time to make potato salad. Let's put him in the oven. Say a long goodbye because it's going to be a while till you see him again. Miss you already. Nifty. Now, while your cheeky little brisket is enjoying a bit of a hot and steaming experience in the oven, you can be making your delicious potato salad. Look, today, as I said, is not a day for diets. Don't use sweet potato. It's not really the diet potato. It isn't really. Use good old potatoes. I'm going to show you how. Because I didn't want you to be here till the end of time, I decided to pre-do all the ingredients for you. You don't need to see me chopping it. You can work that out. Let's look at what ingredients we need. Dutch cream potatoes. These ones I have cut into even little cubes, and I have pre-boiled them, and I'll tell you how to do that in a little while. Some hard-boiled eggs cut into wedges, and one little guy sitting there all alone waiting for something terrible to happen to him. A Peppa Pig jigsaw puzzle. That is some crispy bacon ready to go. If you want to make a vegetarian one, leave out the bacon. It's as simple as that. Mustard, Dijon and whole seed. This guy here is a little Tasmanian one. A little bit of lemon. A good quality whole egg mayonnaise. Please don't use the sugary stuff. It tastes horrible, and also it's full of sugar. This guy, barely any sugar. He's so delicious. He's got a really creamy flavor, and you're gonna add so much punch to this. You definitely don't want that other crap. You want everybody's favorite duo. That is salt, Sandy, and pepper, Peter. You're gonna need to take a trip to your herb garden and get some basil and parsley and some chives. And I got some spring onions there, and I've chopped them all up. Okay, we're gonna take a large mixing bowl, and we are going to put a lot of mayonnaise into it. This is not the kind of recipe that you sort of measure out. It really depends on how many people you're feeding. So I'm going to put in this much. It is, look, that's how much is left in the jar. I would say there's probably, I'd say there's just over a cup of mayo in there. All right. To him, we're going to add a squeeze of lemon. Woohoo! Just a squeeze. You might want to have some more lemon in later. Going to add, not all of it, because you want some for your garnish. So we're going to add a bunch of chives. And we'll put all these little herbs in. That's basil and parsley. And we'll leave a few spring onions for our garnish. Let me tell you where I got this recipe. Many moons ago when I lived in Sydney, I went to dinner at a friend's place with a bunch of other friends. Pammy be her name, shout out to you Pammy. And she had made this recipe from somewhere on the World Wide Web, and it was really delicious, and I really appreciated it because everywhere I went, everyone used to put cream or sour cream into their potato salad, which is what I had always done before as well, but then I had found out I was lactose intolerant and potato salad was no more part of my life. It was very sad. Anyway, Pammy came up with this recipe from somewhere, and I have adapted it a little bit, and people ask me for it all the time. So now I'm giving it to you. You are welcome. This is my little hack. All right, I had one egg. It happened to be the guy that all fell apart when I was trying to peel him. I always do this. I grate up one boiled egg. It's a great idea to do this. See what I did there? Did ya? All right. The reason I do that is because it just makes it a bit creamier in the mixture. I don't think anyone ever told me to do that. It's just yummy. So we're going to mix that little squishy egg in, and while we are at it, we are going to start adding in some flavours. I have Dijon mustard. I am putting in 1 teaspoon. I am putting in a teaspoon there of whole seed mustard. Putting in a few cracks of pepper. There we go. Putting in a sprinkling of salt. Now, I don't think I mentioned this in my ingredients earlier, but I have a tiny bit of caster sugar here. What I'm going to do is mix through all those ingredients first, and then depending on how it tastes, I'm going to start adding other flavours in. So I'm looking to make sure that it's got enough acidity, enough sweetness, and of course enough saltiness, making it enough delicious. All right. I'm going to have a little taste. Oh, that is actually so good. I want to be alone with it. That's how good it is. I'm not adding in any sugar. Why would you? Why would you add white death to something that is so flippin' perfect? All right, get out of my sight. Alrighty. Here's our beautiful potatoes. I need to tell you about the potatoes. You need Dutch cream potatoes or kiflers or something similar that's going to hold its shape. You can choose how big or how small you want to cut them. Totally up to you. You can choose whether or not you leave the skins on or take them off. But you must cut them all roughly the same size. Otherwise, you're going to have some bits that are really soft and crumbly and other bits that are hard. So you need them to cook evenly. They were actually only cooking for probably 5 or 6 minutes. And I checked on them. They actually weren't even boiling furiously, and I thought I'll just give them a little check. I had a little bite and it was just perfect. So don't walk away from them. Don't go off and do a jigsaw puzzle and then remember later. You will regret it. They've got to be firm but still cooked. And we want to be so gentle with these little guys because they are the hero of our dish. And we're just going to gently, very gently, you need one of these kind of spatulas or a wooden spoon. We're going to gently move them through like that. And at this point, if you are of a bacon persuasion, you can add in your bacon as well, but leave some for the top. It always looks best when you have some chunks on the top. This looks so good. So much yum in this. It's such a classically easy dish, and Such a good thing to take along to a barbecue or to hide in a room alone and just eat with a really big spoon. It's a comfort food. Let me tell you about my eggs. Those eggs are perfect for salad. I popped 4 eggs in some water. I then let them come to the boil. As soon as they started boiling, like bang on when they started, I hit my timer on my phone and I boiled them for exactly 4 minutes. Then I took them off the heat, but I left them in the very hot water, but off the heat for 2 minutes exactly. And then I transferred them into some cold water and I let them cool down in there. It is a bit exact, I know, and I really wanted them to work and they were perfect. Okay, transfer your potato salad into your dish of choice. This is a small dish, but it's going to look quite abundant, isn't it? If I can get them all in there without them all falling out. I would say this is just the right amount of mayo, of sauce, if you will. I like a nice squishy potato salad. If you want to mix the egg through, you can, but I just think it looks so much prettier when you delicately place them on top. And that way people can also choose if they want egg or not. Okay, and next we're going to add our little bits of bacon. So people can see at a glance that there is a bit of delicious salty bacon in there. Then we are going to put our leftover chives on top. So glorious. Oh, look at those colours though. They just burst. They just make me feel so much happiness. I'm easily pleased, obviously. I'm going to put some cracked pepper on the whole thing, but especially where the eggs are. And I am going to give it a little lick of salt because it's delicious. There we go. Mary's delicious potato salad. I am serving this up later, but I'm just going to have a little taste because it's the right thing to do. It's like there's a party in my mouth and all my taste buds came along and some of them brought a gift. That is so good. Okay, so it's been 3 hours. Now I know I said 4 hours, but I just have this feeling to check it now. The original recipe was for like a 5 kilo piece. So this is only half that size. So we're going to check it at 3 hours. We can always put it in for longer, but as you know, we cannot jump into a time machine and go backwards. So better to check early than leave it too late. All right, let's get him out. So let's be careful when we unwrap this because there is going to be a lot of steam escaping. Wow, this guy has shrunk down quite a lot, hasn't he? I'm going to get a little bit of meat off and just see if it doesn't come away easily, it's not ready. All right, here he is. It's really tasty, a little bit spicy. Whew. Yeah, that's yummy. I reckon he's good. It's totally up to you. If you're going to pull it apart, maybe cook it for a bit longer. But I'm not going to be pulling this one apart. I'm going to be serving it in slices. So we've got the last little step to do and then we are done. Woohoo! All right, next step is get a heavy pan heating up. I'm just going to put some salt on here for when we blacken that off. Yummy. Don't discard the juice just yet because later when you cut it up, you can drizzle a little bit over. And don't forget you've got that yummy barbecue sauce, of course. You want him to get nice and black. We're not really blackening it so much as just cooking it so that it's got this nice sort of, all those spices cook off with the fat and it gets just this yummy, almost crispy feel to it. Just wait, you're gonna love it. So we've blackened it off a little bit here and we've got a nice caramelization-y sort of happening over here. I'd say we've rendered the fat a little bit. We've rendered it delicious. All right, I'm gonna plate some of this up. I'm going to show you how you could plate it up at home, how you could serve it. Like I said before, if you're gonna wanna do more of a pulled beef type thing where it's all shredded up, I probably would leave it in for the full 4 hours. But if you like it to have a little bit of firmness in it still, but still be melt in your mouth, delicious, 3 hours is pretty cool. And it really does depend on the size of your beef. Woo! Slow cooked barbecue brisket with delicious potato salad and of course homemade barbecue sauce. Now that is a yummy piece of cow. Come on guys, brisket, get that brisket, give it a go. Why not try something new? Don't forget to post your photos if you do try it at home. This is yum.